Hey, good Friday afternoon. It is August. I keep wanting to say April. I don't know why, but it is August 16th, 2024, and heaven knows I have been out of the loop as far as doing a drive time dialectic here on the actual main channel for the Minnesota Black Robe Regiment podcast, or MBRR Pod, as many of you have come to know it. And if you don't know who I am TC, the host, founder, showrunner, craft services. It's the same old joke every time. You guys are used to it. I am the big chief muckety muck of this channel because I am the only chief muckety. I'm the only muckety muck, so I'm the chief muckety muck and the lowly muckety muck of this channel. So yeah, here I sit, giving you guys an update, and I'm kind of hoping at least a couple of my moderators will come in and help me talk about this a little bit. I'm sure you saw the title, but while we're waiting, this is my favorite and least favorite part of the entire show, and here's why. Because people complain, and when I say people, I mean people who are not subscribers to the channel, the naysayers or the looky-loos who come in and watch it after the fact will complain. Hey Chad, how you doing? Will come in and complain after the fact about how terrible it is that they have to watch me do this opening monologue well, not the opening monologue, but the beginning of the monologue at the opening, because it's a waste of time. And what they don't understand is that I'm doing these as live streams, and you have to do these things at live streams and open, because YouTube likes to oppress the algorithm for people like me. And so it takes a while for notifications to get sent out and for them to hit people's notification alerts. And that brings me to this. If you are subscribed, please go and check and make sure that you have that little bell icon clicked and that you're getting all notifications, because that will help. Like Chad is in the chat right now watching, and he's attested to the fact that he went a really long time without getting notifications, and I'm pretty sure that's because they kept taking his notifications away from him. So yeah, so check notifications, make sure you're getting them. And if you haven't joined the channel yet as a channel member to become an ACT localist, today would be a great time for you to do that if you're not doing so already. And I'm still looking for that show producer, for that one person who wants to step up and take credit for being a show producer at the monthly subscription rate that I have set there. So please help out the channel, become a show producer, and I would be greatly appreciative of that. You have no idea what how much it would help us poor people, just like the rest of you poor people. In Bidenomics, when we are living under progressive leftist inflationary lifestyle that has been brought onto us by central banking and the Federal Reserve, and years of elitism of people who've never had to really struggle to pay their bills, never had to struggle to buy groceries or put fuel in their car, or wonder how they're going to be able to afford to even get to work. They like to monkey around with the economy and economics, and one of the best ways for them to do that is to have that strong central government under the control of the Federal Reserve. And I said that exactly the way I meant to say it. Our federal government is under control of the Federal Reserve. And lest I wax too philosophical on that topic and begin to sound like Royce White, which no one should want to do ever, I will now move on to the topic of conversation. So next week will take, well, actually 2 weeks basically from yesterday. So the 29th of August, Trooper Shane Roper of the Minnesota State Patrol, who murdered Olivia Flores back on May 18th, will be having his first court appearance that day. And I wish that I could tell people that I have any hope that that very first appearance at arraignment is going to, and this is all pre-trial stuff. This is not This is not an appearance for trial court, by the way. The trial has not been set and will not be set for a while yet, and in solidity, so solidly set. They will probably set a trial date at the arraignment on August 29th, but that will get changed. It will get pushed out if he ever goes to trial, because quite frankly, as many of you know, I have many suspicions that County Attorney Mark Ostrom is going to be offering him a very sweet plea deal, because that's what County Attorney of Olmsted County Mark Ostrom likes to do. He likes to offer plea deals to people, and especially people who are guilty of SA or criminal SC with minors. He likes to offer deals, and what will he do for a state trooper? If he's going to give that to people who victimize children in that way, what will he do for a state trooper? And what kind of cushy deals are you going to walk out of from his arraignment, as far as having a bail or bond, or is he going to be released on his own recognizance, ROR, as they say in the business? And so that's August 29th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom number 5 of the Olmsted County Courthouse in the downtown Rochester, right off of 4th Street. So, yeah, once again, that's August 29th in Rochester, Minnesota. I did that on purpose, Minnesota, at 8:30 a.m. That's August 29th, 8:30 a.m. in Rochester at the Olmsted County Courthouse at the Government Center on the 5th floor, courtroom 5. Courtroom 5. And I would be remiss if I didn't ask people to. It would be a really good idea if people were to show up, say, "Hey, Juggalasses." I think it would be a really good idea. Anybody in the area, southeast Minnesota, especially northeast Iowa, who has an interest in justice and seeing justice done, seeing justice for Olivia Flores, I think it would be great if we could get a bunch of people out there holding signs in support of justice for Olivia, and to have the hammer of justice dropped down on Trooper Shane Roper of the Minnesota State Patrol. Once again, Trooper Shane Roper of the Minnesota State Patrol. And the reason I keep emphasizing that he is still a trooper is that he's still in the employ of the Minnesota State Patrol. And he's still being paid. And he's not convicted yet, right? So in the court of law, he's not guilty. He's not guilty. The rest of us know he's guilty. And I understand that his guilt not being made a fact in a court of law probably entitles him to certain protections, and that his union is probably working very hard behind the scenes to make sure he has representation and keeps his job in case by some strange intervention of the dark forces of evil in the world, Roper is able to skate out away from this, found not guilty by some strange, convoluted course of action. I guess he's entitled to go back to work, but yeah, Juggalassus, that's kind of the problem where, I believe firmly in the philosophical intent of innocent until proven guilty. What I will tell you is that in reality, none of us are innocent unless we prove our innocence. So I do agree with you. But this trooper is going to be looked at with favoritism. He's going to be treated with kid gloves by the media and by all the back to blue crowd, and it's going to be really hard to get justice. So I think it would be great if we could get a contingency of people who are passionate about justice for Olivia to show up and hold signs in support of Olivia, decrying and condemning Trooper Shane Roper, and basically let everybody in public service, these public servants know, especially the law enforcement in the area, know that we're watching them and we're not going to let this crap go anymore. And so if you want to take part in that and you are anywhere near the area, please reach out to me and I will try to help you get in contact with other people who are interested in doing the same thing, because I think it's very important, vitally important. And I know that there are some people who are planning to cover the first court appearance as media. I'm not going to give their names. I'm not going to say who those people will be that day, in interest of them being able to actually get into the courtroom. But because I do foresee some shenanigans to try and keep the public out of the public courtroom for Trooper Roper's paid court appearance, by the way, paid court appearance. Now, I don't think he'll have the tenacity, the audacity, the cojones, or the balls to show up in uniform, but I just want people to understand that when he goes to this court appearance, he's still getting paid by the taxpayers, the wage slaves of the state of Minnesota, of the United States. And people can say, well, not the United States. No, people, you need to understand that every tax dollar that you pay at a federal level gets leaked out and helps fund law enforcement activities all over the United States, not just for federal law enforcement, but for state law enforcement and county law enforcement, municipal law enforcement. So it's all this big sick conglomerate of tyranny that's paid for by your wage slave tax dollars. So State Trooper Shane Roper is going to go to court for arraignment for murdering Olivia Flores, and he's going to be getting paid to do that. If that were you and I, our employers would have kicked us to the curb had we been driving officially for them, and in the course of our daily duties murdered somebody with our vehicle, our company vehicle. There would be no protection for us. We would not be getting paid to show up to court for that. We would have been terminated. There would have been, oh, you could burn PTO. We don't have a problem with that. No, you would have been terminated. Not Shane Roper. Shane Roper hasn't had to use his PTO. Shane Roper hasn't had to go out and look for a job with that notoriety hanging over his head. Nope. Shane Roper just sitting at home getting paid. And I had somebody message me privately. Yes, a whole different class of citizens, Jugs. Absolutely. I had somebody message me and go, do you think he's at home enjoying this time off? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I think that I'm not going to tell you that he hasn't probably had some bad dreams. I'm sure he's probably had some bad dreams. I'm sure that Shane Roper's probably had some very traumatic responses to the accident that he caused. I don't care. I want him to go insane from loss of sleep. That, to me, would be just a tiny fraction of a step towards justice. I want, every time he closes his eyes and tries to go to sleep, I want him to hear the cries of Olivia Flores' family. That's what I want. I do want to hear that. I want that for him. And you should want that for him as well. Now, like I said, I do know that there will be some people there as independent media outlets taking notes, copious notes, to write some reports on what takes place in the courtroom that day. And know that it's going to be really difficult for me to get there. Very difficult. I just don't foresee a conduit for me to escape from my work commitments to be able to get there that day. I'm going to try, but I can't make you guys any promises. But I'm going to rely on other people's reporting, people that I trust, and I just hope that people will be able to show up, that somehow we can get some people there that day to rally outside of the courthouse on August 29th before 8:30. I would love for people to be there as early as 7:30 to let Trooper Noper, I wish, to let Trooper Shane Roper of the Minnesota State Patrol know that we are there to demand justice for Olivia, and that hammer of justice will be dropped on him. Now, I want to move on to, I don't really have an update per se about Deputy Christopher Flatten of the Candy Ojai Sheriff's Office over in western Minnesota, but I want you guys to know that we are still tracking on that. We're waiting on his first court appearance for his DUI from being on duty drunk and driving a taxpayer wage slave funded vehicle here in Minnesota, and there has still been no public statement from the sheriff in Candy Ojai County. He still has not made any public statements at all about the pending charges for Christopher Flatten. The Wilmer City Police Department still has me blocked on social media and will not respond to me. So I'm hoping to find somebody to represent me in challenging them where it's not going to cost me anything, but I'd like to find an attorney to help me push back against them blocking me from commenting on their social media. So if you know of anybody who might be willing to practice in Minnesota, if they haven't already, please let me know. And I'm also still talking to several sources in Candy Ojai County about some very, very clear abuses of constitutionally enshrined natural rights of citizens. We're talking about people who lost everything, and I'm still in constant communication with these people. It is a very, very corrupt area. I don't know how else to describe it. It's what they're the C6 region, which is the region, the way the region breaks down for their violent crimes and tasks. It's apparently just full of dirty cops. And I had a news story drop in my lap that I'm going to be covering tomorrow, another Saturday case. I'm going to be dropping this case that was dropped in my lap about another deputy from another county with some pretty shady behavior that was definitely criminal and swept under the rug. I mean, this deputy was caught red-handed in his crime. No two ways about it. He was caught red-handed in his criminal behavior. It involved a minor, and alcohol, and firearms, and it just got swept under the rug. And so tomorrow, I'm thinking in the morning, I'm going to be addressing that case. I'm going to give you guys the name of what took place and the fact that we cannot find, my sources and I cannot find a single news report naming this deputy. So it involves Candido County. Not kidding you. And it involves Candido County and other agencies. And and this has opened the door for even more stuff. So reporting on Flatten, his accident that he was caused by his drunkenness, opened the door to find out about his abuse of Derek Gilbert 2 years ago, and the fact that that's going to trial, civil trial. And he's actually released a statement, Flatten released a statement saying, I didn't violate this guy's rights. We didn't do anything wrong. He was guilty of a crime, and I was dealing, and I'm paraphrasing, basically blaming the victim for being black and being and getting beat. It's his fault. The victim got beat up for being black in Wilmer, and the officer at the time, Flatten, didn't do anything wrong, along with all the other cops that were involved in this beat down and unlawful imprisonment and whatnot. So it sounds like collusion, right? It certainly does. And so we're going to be talking about this recent, as of last night, dropped in my lap story, because I just feel like it's what we need to talk about. Look, I get it. Some of you have tuned in because of the work that I do on exposing corrupt cops, talking about the corruption within the institution of policing across the United States. Some of you became fan subscribers of the channel because of the work that I did in resistance of the COOF virus measures in 2020 and on. And I want everybody to understand, that somebody asked me, well, what do you do? Are you an investigator? And I'm like, well, not an investigator the way other people are. I reach out to people and I listen to their stories and I talk to them a lot, and I compile the stuff that they give me to see how reliable it is, and then I talk about it and I have them on if I believe they're reliable. And that's what I'm working on right now. So I'm an investigative media outlet in the sense that I report on reliable information that's been given to me either by people who are doing their own investigations into things or investigating their own situations where they have been the victims of government malfeasance. And some of that involves dealing with politicians. And I don't do investigations into private individuals and their conduct with other private individuals. I believe that is best handled between those private individuals. Now, if that corruption, if these private individuals can be linked to corruption within the state, whatever level of the state we're dealing with, city, county, state, or fed, then I'll talk about those private individuals, as we all should. But I just don't focus on this person because somebody says they're doing something criminal if they're just a private individual out in the community. And I focus on the government, I focus on the state because the state is more dangerous than anything else. The state is far more dangerous. Well, I like you too, Jugs. Never seen you, but I assume I like you. So far, you've given me no reasons to not believe I would like you. How's that? But the state is far more dangerous. Government, if you prefer that terminology, government is far more dangerous than any individual or even any group of individuals that don't have the power of the government behind them. And I know that individuals can hurt us, but when an individual hurts us, the power of the state can be brought against an individual that hurts us, and they can be stopped and justice can be sought. But when the state hurts us, when the government hurts us, there's no way of getting justice in those situations. So the only thing that we can do is push back against that. We have to push back against that. We have to expose that. We have to shed light on that infection of government corruption, because it is vitally important. It's vitally important that we expose government corruption. And a lot of people are really uncomfortable with that because they think when we expose it, it's going to make it worse. And there is some truth to it, that it can become very painful in the outset of exposing government corruption, state corruption. It can be very painful and can be very dangerous. But the more that we do that, the more that all of us can cohesively work together all across our regions and our states, across this republic, the better off we would all be. We would be all so much better off if we would all work together, because it would be so much harder for them to shut us down and silence us. As an individual, it's very easy for the state to come in and shut me down in one way, shape, or form. That's what they tried to do with my career. They tried to make me afraid of losing my career in hopes that it would shut me down. Right? It didn't shut me down, so they tried to terminate me, and they couldn't terminate me. And that was some accusations going around that I addressed on Facebook, a couple of my Facebook streams. I've never once told anyone I was fired. And I've had people implying, because I'm going after Royce White for his unethical behavior and the way he treats people, I've had people telling everyone to not listen to me because I was fired from being in law enforcement. And these are the same people who 3 years ago were supporting my efforts, who didn't know what I did for a living, who are now using the fact that I've told my story, trying to discredit me for having been terminated from law enforcement. Well, I was never terminated from the career field. They tried to terminate me, and they couldn't, so they made a settlement offer to me, which I took, because I knew I could never go back to the career field, because it was scorched earth for me. I could never trust going back into that work. So, yeah, anyway, saying all that to say that we have to all work together, because they will do everything they can to shut us down if we don't. And we can't let them shut us down. And we can link arm in arm with one another and work together to expose corruption, whether it be in my area or in your area. And that is why I do what I do. That's why I talk about government corruption so much. That's why I talk about corrupt politicians. That's why I will talk about corrupt politicians, whether they have a D behind their name, an R behind their name, an I behind their name, or a libertarian behind their name. If I see corruption, I'm going to talk about it. And I'm damn sure going to talk about corruption if I see it coming in the form of someone who's running for office. So that's why I do the things that I do. And I make no apologies for it. I'm not proud of it in the sense of I'm proud of who I am and what I do. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is I'm glad to do what I do, and I'm thankful that people are noticing, and I wish I could get others to notice with me. You know, and that's why so many of you who watch are here. And speaking of which, Jugs, I got to do something for you here. Don't freak out. Oops. There we go. Jugalassus, ladies and gentlemen, just got a promotion. Jugs is now a managing moderator. Jugs, type a message in there so I can see what it says. But yeah, everybody welcome Jugalassus, the only managing moderator. I don't know what a managing moderator can do, but so Jugs, don't take advantage. Don't be corrupt. thugs. Javalasses do not be corrupt. Do you understand? All right. But folks, I'm going to end this here. I just want to tell you guys to be looking for a stream tonight at 8 p.m. Central. That would be 6 p.m. Western or Pacific time, and 9 Eastern time. I'm going to be doing Pew Pew review with Joe Lanou and crew again this Friday night. We'll see. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm getting weather. So I hope that you guys will, one, help me remind people to stay on top of the Trooper Shane Roper story, and wait with bated breath for the information I'm going to be bringing to you tomorrow about another officer caught breaking the law and just basically getting away with, I don't know how to tell you it was anything other than a slap on the wrist. I don't know how this guy kept his job. I'll just put it that way. I don't panic and I don't want power. I never put anybody in power who wants power. And if you guys haven't been watching, even though it's probably outside of the purview of your interest, go and watch the stuff I've been putting out about Royce White, because the guy stinks to high heaven. There's something going on with him. And I believe that the Republicans in Minnesota got set up, and it's going to hurt Minnesota as a whole. And if they can do it to us, they can do it to anybody. So until next time, my friends, fight for your freedom, it is yours. Fight for your liberty, it belongs to you. And sic semper tyrannis.